Day of the Clowns. Now, I've seen some reviews of people saying that this was probably not one of the best episodes, and I know some people might not be a fan of the idea of clowns as the enemy or child abduction, but I didn't mind them as a child. So now I'm an adult, does this episode still make me feel the same way? A new family has moved to Bannerman Road, among them Rani Chandra, who is haunted by a sinister clown. Does it have anything to do with the local children who have gone missing? When Clyde's friend disappears, the trail leads to a strange circus museum managed by a man named Spellman, and the legend of the Pied Piper. But is Sarah Jane fit enough to face against her own fears? Let's talk about Sarah Jane first. This story establishes Sarah Jane has been afraid of clowns since childhood, and thereby centered the story of nature of fear itself. It's a bit ironic of all the things she has seen. Daleks, Centaurans, mummies, Cybermen, the Loch Ness Monster. The one thing she's scared of most is clowns, which is pretty much what most people are afraid of. Well, it is nice to see your own main character be tested with their own fears, but it kinda downbeats her a little bit. But it's nice to see fragments of her childhood, which does actually play a big deal in the series, as you will soon see. This episode introduces us to Rani Chandra as Maria's replacement. I guess it is nice for Rani to have an interest in journalism, a bit ironic, but I guess it works into the future of the show. It is nice to see Rani try and act like a detective throughout the episode, which does give her more character, some wisdom, intelligence and wit, and for a replacement, she does become interesting and enduring without having to step into Maria's shoes. Plus, she does have the same cockiness as Clyde, which does come into play in the future, which is one of the best things I love about this show, and these characters. At least the writing by Phil Ford doesn't actually carry on like Maria never existed. It also introduces us to Rani's parents, Haresh and Geeta. As you can tell, they are completely different from the Jacksons. Geeta is the more jolly, chirpy kind, and Haresh is the strict but caring man. While I did love watching Alan Jackson, I literally enjoy Haresh and Geeta more. They just make me laugh every time. Geeta calling Sarah Jane just Sarah, which I'm sure is meant to be a reference to how she used to be called Sarah in the classic series, but I do like the scenes between Clyde and Haresh. It's like watching Bart Simpson and Principal Skinner. There's a sense of rivalry between them, but it's all played for jokes and amusement, not too harshly. One thing that did bother me a little is what fans have been like, hey, I don't like that, and finally, I'm at the point of, yeah, okay, I get it. It's Bradley Walsh as Spellman. I mean, I enjoy him as Spellman at times, but when he's Oddbob the Clown, I just don't know how to feel. Afraid, creeped out, or just laugh. And there are moments where his acting does become over the top or corny, even for a kids show. If you're going to go for a sinister kind of enemy, say a clown, Bradley Walsh seems like an odd choice. When I look at this character, I imagine someone like Mark Hamill or Julian Bleach. But I'm being too harsh on this guy. There are times in which I can see he's having fun, but other times I think he's reading off cue cards. Also, the idea of people can only see the clown if they have a card is just ridiculous. Plus, what kind of clown gives out cards to random kids? Doesn't that sound kind of suspicious? Wouldn't people easily figure out something is not right? And yeah, how the Pied Piper links into this? Okay, actually, I think that was a clever idea, to have a legend behind the fairy tale be used into a story. I think it maybe needed a little bit more explanation. I guess one of the things I like about this episode, as I do with the last one, is the music, especially the Pied Piper's flute, which I actually find intimidating. And I have to say, even for a corny, over-the-top episode, it's actually shot pretty well. And some of the scenes are actually fun to sit through. It just needs some fixer-uppers. So to answer my question, maybe the episode is not the same as I first saw it, but I still had fun with it. I don't hate the episode. It's a good starter for Rani, but I do admit it has some problems. But for what it is, I'd say it's best to stay for the fun. But unless you're someone who has chlorophobia.